Hi everyone, Amy Rogas here with the Farm Ranch team of Century 21 Circle. If you're watching this video, it is likely because I have emailed you my listing plan of action, which I normally do in person, but for those of you who may not be local or don't have time to meet, this is the age of electronics. So I've got my sheet here in front of me and I'm just going to run down this list with you, and you should have it in front of you too. So first and foremost, just discussing the pre-listing activities that I do. I actually typically go out on a total of 4 visits before we actually get the property listed. The first one is previewing the property, and that is so that I know exactly what I'm working with. You know, a person can describe their property to me over the phone and even send me photos, but I don't truly get the feel for it until I'm there in person. So previewing the property is always helpful. Then I go back to my office. Oh, wait a minute, getting ahead of myself. So visit 1, previewing the property. I also, it's our initial consultation so that we can learn about each other, what your goals are. And lastly, I do go over my marketing plan with you at that time, which is actually this sheet I'm working off of. So there's that. The second visit is to come back and explain to you, well, after first visit, I go back to my office and I prepare the market analysis and the net proceeds sheet. And then I come back to visit you to present those findings, which again, trying to put all of this electronically. And then we'll discuss the findings of the market analysis. We'll go over the net proceeds sheet, and we'll discuss the initial pricing that would work for you, because as the seller, that is your choice. I mean, obviously, I hope that you lean on me and take my recommendations, but the actual price we list it at is your choice. Also, we will talk about timing, not only when to put it on the market, but if we don't get bites, when do we do price reductions? And also the market analysis will give us an indication as to what kind of marketing time you should expect before you would get a contract. And that way that helps you, because if you say, for example, listed at one price and you're not getting any offers, or maybe not as many showings as you'd like, but yet the market analysis said you should have it sold within 2 months. Well, we really need to kind of look at our number of showings compared to how much time it's been on the market. That actually gets more explained during the CMA. So I'll try to get back on track. My third listing is when you have told me that you are going to hire me. And that's when we sign the listing agreement and take photos. So the second portion of my list here is the actual marketing activities that I do. If you would like, we can do what's called a coming soon. We can put the listing on what's called the private network. Some people do that for a variety of reasons. Sometimes it's just to kind of gain a little interest in the property before we actually put it out there on the MLS, which syndicates to the other websites. And sometimes it's people who just aren't quite ready. Their house isn't show ready yet. And that way, if a buyer's been out there looking for this particular type of property and it comes up on the private network, then, hey, as long as they are able to see through maybe your house that is still a little cluttered, then yeah, we're happy to show it to them. So that's the private network, and that's an option. You can do that or not. It's completely up to you. With regards to photography, I always do drone photography, and I always hire a professional photographer for the interior, for all of the photos. They have the cameras that have the wide angle lenses, and that helps capture the room better so that you can see all of the room. Sometimes they get a little misleading because of the angles. Things seem a little bigger than they are or whatnot, but we're just trying to show you as much of the property as possible. And I want to put it in its best light, and the professional photographers can certainly do that. Please, if you are talking with an agent who's going to go around and snap photos with their cell phone and put those online, please don't use them. I mean, don't get me wrong, but we all we all work hard for our money, and you have a property. If it's a farm and ranch property, I know it's not cheap. So, your property deserves to have, the best first impression. So, let's see. Along with the photography, my photographer does what's called the 3D Matterport tour. And that is where, it's a virtual tour. Buyers can walk through your property online, and they can do it at their own pace, which is what I love about it. I mean, I've always loved this type of media, but it wasn't really until COVID hit that it got real popular, because you can walk through the house at your own pace. You can go into whatever room you want. You can look up and you can look down, so you can see the flooring and you can see if there's cracks in the ceiling. You can turn around at 360 degrees. And it's the best way for people to get through your house, understand how the rooms flow from one to another. And along with that Matterport comes a floor plan. So, if they're walking through the property, then they can also reference the floor plan to be like, okay, I'm in the kitchen now, and I'm going into the breakfast room. So I find that helpful too. Some people like photos, some people like videos, some people, I just try to cover it all. So I'm attracting buyers who are continuing to click on what's being offered. So they stay on the website and they stay on your listing until they have enough information to make a decision as to whether or not they want to come see it. Let's see. If you allow it, I'll put in my yard signs. Now, my signs are custom. They are 3 foot wide by 4 foot tall. It does have a picture of me and my horse, and trust me, that gets recognized. I get calls from people that are like, oh yeah, I see your signs everywhere, which makes me feel good. But part of that is not only the size, but the photo on the sign, and it says Farm and Ranch for sale, black and white. Can't miss it. Also, we can do directional sales or signs. Yes. So, being out in the rural areas, I try to put directionals on the most traveled roads and intersections to try to direct traffic past your house. So that way, we try to capture people who might not specifically be looking for a property, but hey, if they're driving by and they might know someone who is looking, maybe it's a fit. You just never know. So from there, we activate it on the MLS. And the MLS is obviously what gets your listing the most amount of attention, because it syndicates out to hundreds of other websites. I mean, most people know Zillow and Realtor.com. Of course, it syndicates to all the brokerage websites. So even though, I'm with Century 21, somebody might be working with a RE/MAX agent, and if they do a search from that agent's website, the listing will still pop up. So, and then of course, it will go to, of course, the Century 21 websites and my personal website, farmranchteam.com. Also, when we activate it in the MLS will send the listing out to buyers whose search criteria match your property. And when I do searches for buyers, a lot of times with these specialty properties, I will add remarks, like my search will search in the remarks section for keywords like horse, barn, outbuilding, and you can put anything in there. So I try, when I make the descriptions for my properties, I try to use keywords that I would use, but also in different ways. So if somebody's looking for a barn, I also like to put the word outbuilding in the description, so that if one or the other is in the description, it will pull. And so on some of my descriptions, it might sound repetitive, but it's for a reason. Let's see. Then I do also advertise on multiple different websites that are very much horse related, but the other ones are land and rural related. There is one company that has, I believe, like the parent company has like 3 different websites, and they're all very similar but different. But the long story short is that my listings, they automatically go there through the MLS. But I have recently paid to get those listings boosted so I get more attention. And I have noticed an increase in leads coming in from those sites. So that's a good thing. And they are outlined here on the page. Let's see. Oh, and then let's move on to social media. So I do have a Facebook page, and I have about 3,700 followers. My goal is 4,000 and more, but right now it's about 3,700 followers, and all those people are people that we started off obviously with friends of mine, and then how Facebook suggests friends, and then once I friend request them or they accept, then I invite them to like my business page. So it's not, and again, it's not all like horse people or whatnot. Some of it are rural people in the area, landscapers, people that have their own businesses that would want these types of properties for another purpose. So we do try to get it in front of different types of buyers, and that's actually where the Facebook groups come in, because there are groups that are, again, horse focused, groups that are more land focused, or hunters, or maybe more local. Like I know there's like a Will County page that we post on, or even if it's Kendall County or a certain town. So again, just posting wherever we can, because social media is free. So but then again, there's also paid advertising. So and I do pay to do paid Facebook ads as well, and that is putting your property in front of people that I don't even know, that aren't necessarily looking for property, but again, they may know somebody, or they may be passively looking in terms of, hey, if you happen to hear of anything like this or that, let me know. But if I put it in front of them on accident through a Facebook paid ad, that works too. Let's see. And e-blast flyers. So I have my assistant make up flyers on all of my listings, and we try to pull the best photos and then do a little bullet point on the highlights of the listing, and that gets e-blasted out to agents that are in the area, specialty agents like myself, and then also my personal farm and ranch database. So that's anyone and everyone who's ever contacted me about a listing, whether they're a buyer or seller. And again, it just, even if they're not in the market any longer, it's a reminder that I'm out there, and or if they know somebody who's looking. I actually just got a reply today from somebody who I had met with literally, I want to say 3 years ago. And I had followed up with this person for quite a while and then didn't. And because this person wasn't responding to me. And long story short, we emailed out a flyer today on a new listing, and this person responded. So I was like thrilled. I was like, hey, good to hear from you. So you never know when people are still in the market. Then let's see. Oh, my printed flyers. So I do printed flyers. I do both like a big group, say spring flyer, kind of booklet that would encompass all of my listings at that time. And then I also do individual flyers. So with the big group flyer, I have a mailing list of about 500 that I send those to, and that's like vets, farriers, feed stores, landscape companies. And then I also have them printed so that I can take them to, horse shows and other events where, rural people would be looking and shopping. And then, so that's for the most part it on the marketing itself. you should get by or maybe weekly web updates from Century 21 that will show you the amount of traffic that's looking at your listing. So the nice thing about that is, you can see when it's first listed, you should definitely get a ton of lookers. I mean, that's when most people will see it all at once. And then you may see the activity online trail off a bit. And then we might do, a Facebook post or something, and it might boost the activity for a little bit. But long story short, if our activity online is getting stagnant, then, we know it may be time for a price change. So it's kind of good to watch that. I mean, clicks on a website, they need to equate out to showings, which will then equate out to an offer. So if we don't have interest in looking at it online, we need to get some. So you should get those weekly web updates. And then for the specialty websites that I advertise on, my assistant Amy, she will email you like a monthly update from those sites. That's done manually, and so that's why we just do it monthly. And let's see, obtain showing feedback. Of course, that's super important and helpful for my sellers. I will say, unfortunately, agents are not great about giving feedback. Amy and I, or I should say Amy, she follows up with all the agents who show my listings to get feedback if they don't voluntarily, fill out the request form. But it's helpful for you, of course, because if we hear something repeatedly that buyers are not liking, and it's an item that you can fix or give a credit for or something of that nature, then yeah, let's do it. I mean, generally, I tell people in terms of I get asked, what do I do to get my property ready for sale? And with the farms and the farm and ranch listings, I normally say, fix anything that's broke, finish any projects that you've started, declutter and clean. But don't go, putting money into your property to sell it. Because with these properties, I feel like there is such a range of sale price because, they're kind of fewer farther between. And when doing the market analysis, I can't pinpoint an exact sales price. And with as much background experience as I have with the appraiser, we could be a $50,000 difference, just kind of depending on your price point from like what we originally started at to what we end up selling for. I mean, that is a big jump, but I'm just saying. So long story short, my point being, I'd never recommend that you put 10 grand into your house to fix it up, because I can't guarantee that I'm going to get that back for you. What it might do though is help with your marketing time. And so depending on if you, like, say, for example, if we are going into fall and you want to make some improvements or paint or something of that nature, yeah, go ahead and do that, because that may help get it sold a little faster during fall, and where you wouldn't have to hold the property over winter. And speaking of paint and carpet, I'm getting off on a tangent here, but paint and carpet is the cheapest and the best way to freshen up your house. I know people love their custom paint colors, but I will say, I look at photos online all the time, and anything but neutral colors can be so distracting. And even though I see so many, rooms that are decorated, very well and like cute for kids and whatnot, the more neutral you can make your rooms, the better. And so, paint and carpet. You won't necessarily get the labor price back, but I would say you'd get your money back in terms of the actual cost of the paint and carpet, and again, help with the marketing time. So, I got off on a tangent there. Sorry. Last but not least, I got a couple different 3 last bullet points. Find homes and estates. So that is Century 21's luxury line, luxury websites. And so your property may qualify. A lot of times my listings do, just kind of by default, because a property that is listed for, I believe it is about 3 times what the average sale price is for that area, it'll automatically go on the luxury site. And, you know, sometimes that the value is there because the property has land and outbuildings, not because it's actually a luxury house. But hey, again, it's one more website, one more set of eyes on your property. And then if your property is more of an income producing or commercial, has a commercial side to it, like sometimes my big horse farms are, you know, they're income producing with boarders and trainers. So sometimes I'd put those on what's LoopNet, which is a commercial MLS, or Crexy. So that is it in a nutshell for my marketing activities. Certainly, if you have any questions on this after viewing this video, give me a call, 815-210-8633, or text or email amy@farmranchteam.com. Thanks so much for listening. Bye-bye.